Welcome, everybody, back to Good Sports. I'm Parris, and he is
Mike Espejo.
And welcome to another special episode. It's episode 4. I think I'm definitely going on a weird track here, but we're talking about which happens every 4 years, Mike, the 2024 Summer Olympics.
Yes, and it's fitting that our 4th show is about the Olympics, and they happen every 4 years. Just thought of that.
We definitely planned that.
Yeah, oh yeah. This is all planned, folks. And it was a very special Olympics to me anyway because of the city that hosted it. Paris is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and I think it's a magical city. I've been there one time, and I think I just fell in love with the city and walking around that city. And even though they get kind of a bad rap, the French people were very nice, as long as you're polite, like anywhere else, you know. They were fine with me. And I think the Olympics were last held in Paris, like it was either 100 or something crazy years ago. So it was a big thing for them to have it. And I know Boston was actually in the running for these games. So
can you imagine if that was?
Yeah, it could have been
a lot of traffic.
Yeah, a little change of a couple things here and there, and we could have been hosting them here. But Paris is an awesome city. I actually had plans to go to these Olympics.
Really?
I had a little Airbnb outside of Paris, 15 minutes outside the city, and I wanted to go to the opening ceremonies. It's my favorite city, and I thought seeing those opening ceremonies on the Seine River, some of the artist renderings, I thought would be unreal. But it was going to be on my vacation and then go to Italy afterwards. But some things happened this summer, and life kind of just was life, and it didn't really work out. So I had to cancel my trip, and I was going to meet some friends out there, and I was really looking forward to that trip and seeing the Olympic Games in Paris. But like most everyone else, I get to watch them on TV, and I really loved that opening ceremony. I think, again, the backdrop of all those buildings and monuments of Paris, and how they had the athletes on the boats going down the Seine and into the stadium was just unbelievable. The fireworks, and it definitely lived up to my expectations on what would happen. There was a little controversy with the opening ceremonies, but we are controversy free here on Good Sports, so we're not even going to go there. We're going to just take it for what we saw, and I thought they were really well done, and just the spectacle of the Olympics was really cool.
It makes it feeling better. I don't have my passport. Well, I do have my passport, but it's expired, so
Okay.
I need to renew it.
Have you ever been out of the country?
Once to the Punta Cana, Dominican Republic.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've heard that's nice.
Yeah, it was very warm,
Yeah.
like Arizona hot.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah.
Well, very hot.
But I probably agree with you. I want to go to Paris. I mean, my last name is Parris with two R's.
Right. That's right.
So, but I am a little French Canadian. People say, "Are you French?"
Oh.
Well, I am a little French Canadian, so I'm
You
not
should definitely go
completely
someday.
French. Yeah,
It's
escargot. I want to try that.
Yeah, I've never tried that, but it's my favorite city. It's a magical city, and it's a very walkable city. And the metro goes everywhere, and it's just the Cathedral of Notre Dame, the Arc de Triomphe, Champs Elysees, the Eiffel
Oh, I know
Tower.
that song.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Yep.
And like neighborhoods like the Marais, and just the museums, the Mona Lisa's there, and it's just an awesome place. And what a perfect, I thought, backdrop to kind of gather the world. And there were so many great performances in this Olympics, and we're going to touch on some of them. And you have to start with the American gymnast Simone Biles, who there's something about gymnastics in the Olympics. I don't know if this happens for you, but I won't watch it anywhere else really. But in the Olympics, I think it's kind of special and magical. Ever since I was a kid, I watched like Mary Lou Retton and all the way up to Aly Raisman, and now Simone Biles, who's now become our most decorated gymnast ever. And the great story about Simone Biles is in 2020, as everyone knows, in Tokyo, she had some, I forget what they call them, the twisties. And it was a mental kind of block in her head, like Chuck Knobloch not being able to throw the ball to first base. And she had to withdraw from the games. And she was, like this year, the favorite, and the gold medal favorite. And it really became a great story along the lines of mental health. And she brought a lot of attention to mental health, which is a huge problem in our country, and making sure that you're right mentally before you can do anything, even a championship gymnast. And the redemption story for Simone Biles in this Olympics was just really cool to watch her do so great, win all the gold medals. They won the team gold. She won a couple gold medals on individual events and the individual all-around. And it just became a feel-good story, a redemption story, even though she was, I mean, in Tokyo, she was on top of the world and the greatest gymnast ever already for the United States. But that happened. And it was I remember it was such a shock when, Simone Biles had to withdraw, and for her to come back and fight through those mental demons and fight through those issues to become a champion again. It's just, everyone loves a redemption story, right? And there's no better story, redemption story, I think, than doing this on the grandest stage in the world. I think it's bigger than like the World Series or the Super Bowl, because the whole world watches the Olympics. It's the whole world, right? And to do it on that type of stage is just remarkable. And one thing I just learned about Simone Biles too is she's a foster kid, and which has some personal interest to me. And she said she couldn't have done this without her foster parents, which is just, again, taking a cause that there are so many kids out there without homes, that need homes, and to give them a champion like that to look up to and say, hey, I'm a foster kid, I don't have a home, but I could be a Simone Biles. And it's just, her story is just filled with hope. And I think in this day and age and of, how divided we are as a country and divided we are as a people, and how much cynicism there is out there, stories like Simone Biles they're so uplifting. And I think her being the headline kind of star for the Americans, at least, was a great story. Continuing on, gymnastics again. As an Olympic support, I find it very special. I had the schedule. I literally, the only other thing I'll do this for is Patriot Games, is just plan my calendar around when the games were. And interestingly enough, the Paris is 6 hours ahead. So whenever we have Olympics or World Cup or something overseas, you have NBC and Peacock, they play them live all day. Yep. And then they do the evening recaps.
Yeah, like I know USA had like recaps of like it didn't say live, it just said new, which means like it wasn't live. So I mean, like the volleyball, and they had like the gym. I'm like this is definitely not live, because it's just like so many hours ahead, as you said.
Yeah.
So it's just like NBC, Peacock. So
right,
Mike Tirico was there. He's like I'm getting ready for Kansas City and Baltimore. I'm sure that's what he's trying to think in his head. Then you got the Peacock game, Green Bay, but we're not talking about football.
We're not there yet.
We're not there.
Maybe our next episode.
Yeah.
We're getting close. And I know Robert's getting excited. But again, that whole thing about, because some people have to work during the day and they would watch the stuff at night. So social media, how it's exploded, people would have to avoid social media to see people posting about it, or people talking about it. And it just adds another wrinkle. And I think it also adds to kind of like the uniqueness of the Olympic Games, because here in America, all of our sports are on our time zone. We either, comfortably 8 a.m. or evening or weekends. But now, I mean, the women's final was, I think, 12:30 in the afternoon. So, again, like football, I had the schedule and I'd work my day around it. So, the women's team competition, the USA did awesome. They got the gold medal for the team, and in the men, interestingly enough, they weren't really favored to do anything. They were just hoping to get a medal, and they hadn't won a team medal on the men's side in 16 years. And it came down to the last event, just how it fell, and it was the pommel horse, and this guy became like a national sensation. Worcester's own Steven Nedorosek, and all he did was pommel horse, and nothing else. And the team competition came down, and he had to nail his routine, and that's like bringing in like a closer, right, at the end of a baseball game, like
and here is the last.
Yeah,
person.
right, like
Here
Mariano
we go.
Rivera.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. It's like, oh wow,
close the game.
Yeah.
So Nedorosek did it, and they won the bronze for the first American medal in team gymnastics in 16 years. He also won the bronze in the individual for the pommel, which was the first men's individual medal in 8 years. So Steven Nedorosek, I mean, and what was cool about him is he like had glasses and he looked like he had a Clark Kent thing going on. And he'd take his glasses off for the pommel horse and then put them back on. He just kind of didn't look like a gymnast. He just looked like, just someone with glasses, I guess. I don't want to.
Gymnast in disguise.
Yeah, like
Gymnast in
superhero disguise. So that was really cool. Continuing on, other highlights in gymnastics, Jordan Childs. She kind of had a controversy with her floor exercise routine. There was a challenge. First, they said the Romanian gymnast, I forget her name, won the bronze. And the U.S. coaches challenged something about one of her scores and level of difficulty, and it was overturned, like throwing the challenge flag, and they gave Jordan Childs the bronze medal. Subsequently, after that, Romania challenged to the IOC, and it was overturned again. So it's a big controversy, and I wish they just kind of would have just given them both the bronze medal, right? I mean, why put them through those highs and lows, and it's hard enough, and I mean, who's gonna remember if you had 2 bronze medals? Another great performance in gymnastics I wanted to talk about, personal interest. Filipino gymnast Carlos Yulo. He won the country's first ever gold medals in gymnastics in the floor exercise and the vault. And he won half of Philippines' total of 4 medals with 2 golds. And that's just kind of, I mean, my background's Filipino, and we don't have much to cheer about, and I'm a sports fanatic. So move over Manny Pacquiao. We have now Carlos Yulo and I guess Joe Coy too in the comedic sense. But I just wanted to mention a shout out to Carlos Yulo. That was pretty cool, and seeing his joy to get the Philippines a gold medal. Like stories like that, right? Like that you don't usually get, but you get a small country, island nation, and becomes on top of the world in a sport, and that's kind of the magic of the Olympics. It's you're literally on top of the world. Other great performances I want to talk about in swimming, probably the most dominant performance of the games, Katie Ledecky. She is the most decorated female United States Olympian of all time. She's got 14 medals, and just some of her events, I mean, it didn't even look like she was in a different pool than other people. She'd be a whole pool length ahead, and she's just very dominant, and she's only 27. The next Olympic Games are in Los Angeles in 2028. So there's speculation. They're wondering, will she come back at 31 to build on her total? So Katie Ledecky is just an awesome athlete to watch, and so dominant, and she was fun. Another one I wanted to mention I thought was really interesting, tennis. Novak Djokovic from Serbia, he completed what I learned was the career Grand Slam, which is the 4 majors, French, Wimbledon, Australian, U.S. Open, plus a gold medal. And he was the 5th person, man or woman ever, to do the tennis career Grand Slam.
Wow.
Yeah, he joins Rafael Nadal, Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, and Serena Williams. So that's kind of like a super slam that was pretty neat. Other highlights, United States, track and field, we were just dominant. I think we have 34 medals as a nation in track and field, 14 gold, 11 silver, 9 bronze. In comparison, in Tokyo 4 years ago, they won 26 medals. So our greatest performance ever in track and field, and just dominant for 34 of, and that's a big chunk of all of our medals as a team. Some of the highlights in track and field, Noah Lyles, who was actually a specialist in 200 meter, won the 100 meter, and reclaimed for the United States the fastest man in the world, whoever wins the 100 meter. And we haven't probably had that in a long time. And he actually, unfortunately, only got the bronze in his bid in his strongest event, the 200 meter. I guess he was battling about a COVID. We found out after the fact. Sydney McLaughlin-Leveroni dominates the 400 meter hurdles. Again, just adding to the great stuff that the U.S. track and field team did. So, all in all, just so many great dominant performances, and we're just basically highlighting the United States. There's so many great stories of other countries, but I mean, we only have a half-hour show, so I got my Filipino shout-out in. But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the medals. Let's talk about the medal count. Who got the most medals?
USA. With 126. We can go
How many golds?
40.
40.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna obviously I can't read all 84 of the countries because that'd just be outrageous. But I'm gonna read. How about I read just top 10 golds, top 10 silvers, and top 10 bronze.
Now, just think about that. There's 84 different countries competing.
lot.
I mean, no, not competing. 84 different countries took home a medal from the 2024 Olympic Games. So literally, the eyes of the world are on this event. And that's kind of what makes the Olympics so special, along with the fact that they only happen every 4 years. And I couldn't even imagine how cool that would be to represent your country in an event, against the world. And I mean, that would be cool to be a Boston Red Sox, but I mean to be Team USA, like in that great movie about the 1980 Winter Olympic hockey team, when Mike Eruzione yells, what team do you play for? And Herb Brooks and Mike Eruzione says, the United States of America. And that was kind of the bonding moment for that team. To play or represent your country on that grand stage, I think it's got to be
That's
one of
the Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the coolest things, and especially for the French athletes to do it in front of France. I know we'll get to basketball in a second, but the French team, they the support they had, and they made a great run towards the gold medal. To have the home crowd behind you against the world probably meant the world to them. So, sorry. Back to our medal count.
All right, so I think I'm going ahead of what you're talking about. I'm going to basketball. Okay, so we're gonna do top 10. So gold, we are tied with China, who also had 40. In third place, we had Japan at 20, Australia with 18, France 16,
Home nation.
Netherlands 15, United Kingdom 14, Korea 13, Italy 12, and Germany also had 12. As for the silver, we had the most again at 44. And I'll just go down the line. China 27, Japan 12, Australia 19, France 26, Netherlands 7, UK 22, Korea 9, Italy 13, and Germany 13. Tied again. We had 42 bronze, China 24, Japan 13, Australia 16, France 22, Netherlands 12, UK 29, Korea 10, Italy 15, and Germany 8. But in total, we have 126. That's in total.
Yeah, in the U.S. track, they had 34 of those 126.
So yeah, so as I'm looking at the list, everyone has a medal. There's some countries that just have one. And that's way down below. So.
Yeah, but there are countries that also participated, probably that left without a medal.
Yeah.
That isn't the whole list.
Yeah. We got the whole list right here. No. But on to basketball, as you were saying, the U.S. men's basketball team. So men's, why is this not letting me go to this? Bear with me, folks. But Mike, as I get to the
one of the cool things about having about the men's basketball team is they had the pro athletes there, and again, that opening ceremony, they were all on boats, and seeing LeBron James hold the flag for the American team at the front of the boat, and it was a rainy night, but they were all out there with their cameras, just again, adding to that spectacle of the Olympics and seeing, imagine being a gymnast or a rower or a swimmer and being on that same boat with LeBron James going down the Seine River, down the middle of Paris in the opening ceremonies. It just had to be an awesome moment.
So now I have the schedule up. So
all right.
For the men's basketball. All right. So on the early week of the Olympics, they played Sarabia, and it looks like they defeated them 110-84 in that first game. So they did play Sarabia.
Serbia?
Sarabia.
Sarabia.
That's a teacher I went to.
Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah. And then on the July 31st, South Sudan, they defeated them 103-86. And then I'm just going to go through the list. Phase Group C, they defeated Puerto Rico 104-83. Quarterfinals, Brazil 122-87. U.S. won that again. In semifinals, Serbia, 95-91. That was a bit closer. And then to get the gold medal, they defeated France 98-87.
Well, spoken with your French Canadian accent.
Merci. Yeah. But obviously you got the all-stars of the team: Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Derek White, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum. We got all of them. Joel Embiid, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, and Devin Booker.
And we had 3 Boston Celtics on the team: Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Derek White.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. A big Olympic snub was Jaylen Brown, who was not happy. He was snubbed, but
you know who else was snubbed from girls basketball? Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark.
She's awesome.
She is awesome.
Fun to
I
watch.
think we gotta have her as a guest here.
Yeah.
I think we can have her as a guest with her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey. I don't think he's relation to Christian.
Oh, really? Is she?
Yeah, she's dating Connor McCaffrey.
We'll see if we can fit her in, but that would be good.
Yeah.
One of the cool things I wanted to talk about, too, with the men's basketball team, that's the last time we'll ever see LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry play together on a team. That was pretty cool for kind of the basketball people that love seeing them together. And it was kind of surprising that some of the games, like especially the last 3 you read, were pretty close. And looking at the French roster, I think they had Wembanyama, the big tall guy, 7'6", who's very good. He's like a second-year player. And one of the stars was actually Yabusele, who the Celtics drafted in 2016 in the second round, and he never really made it. He averaged like 2.3 points. But on the world stage, I mean, he played pretty well. And it's just interesting to see, like this isn't like that old dream team with Larry Bird and all those guys and Jordan. Those guys just smoke people like, by 40 points. But at least it seems like, and I don't know, maybe the world's catching up, or that maybe this team didn't have time to kind of, basketball's a team game. There's a lot of nuance and structure and getting it together, and these guys are just kind of slapped together, and they don't really practice that much. So maybe that had something to do with it. And maybe the French team and the Serbian team, they have been together longer. So I was trying to think of if the world's catching up, or we just kind of threw our stars out there and rolled the ball out and still won, right? MVP of the team, probably Steph Curry. In the gold medal game, he was just Steph being Steph, and I think...
What's his real... Isn't it like his real name's like Warcall or something? No, it's like that's his last name. I'm trying to think of what his real name is.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's going to go down as probably one of the most pure shooters that we will ever see in the history of the league. Steph Curry was just awesome in that gold medal game and pretty much, put it away by himself and down the stretch in that last quarter. And one thing I think we have to talk about being coming from this area and the reigning NBA champions, Jason Tatum. A huge story in the Olympic Games is that Tatum hardly got any playing time from head coach Steve Kerr, and people are kind of wondering, you have the best player on the best team sitting on your bench, and I think he didn't even play in the semifinal against Serbia, and a lot of people, especially around these parts, are wondering, does Kerr have some type of beef with him, or what was the deal? Like, I mean, on that team, how can you not find minutes for Jason Tatum? And
maybe they snubbed him.
Yeah, I think it was a snub.
I think it was like, hey, you're going to the Olympics, but you're not going to get much playing time. We're just kind of like, that's not fair.
And I think on top of the Jaylen Brown snub, I think as a Celtics fan, I take a twisted look at everything. I think all they did with these Olympics and these guys is just light a fire under their bottoms to go and do it again. Like, okay, Jaylen Brown's going to be sitting at home watching the Olympics thinking, I'm not good enough to play in that team. I just won the NBA title. He's going to be even more motivated. Jason Tatum is going to be on that plane ride home thinking, I didn't even get to see the court. He's going to be even more motivated. And I think that kind of, in a weird way, bodes well for the next year's Celtics team. And personally,
undefeated, yeah. That might be.
Personally, I had a lot of friends and relatives that were kind of mad at Steve Kerr for not playing Jason Tatum, but selfishly, I was like, didn't have that much a problem with it because I didn't want him to get hurt. And they've played such a long year. I mean, the NBA playoffs go 2 months. They start in April, and they end at the end of June. And that's a long season on top of 82 games. They have to win 16 games to win the title. And then you throw in an overseas trip with all these games. And again, I mean, it's probably not a bad deal that Jason Tatum didn't get to play that much. So again, hopefully we will find out, and it will come out the real reason why Steve Kerr snubbed Jason Tatum, because I'd like to know. And it just was a kind of an undercurrent on that team, especially from a local angle here in the Boston area, that the Celtics fans want to see their guy out there and kind of got frustrated. So what do you think happened?
They snubbed him.
Why?
They're you know why? They're jealous. They're jealous that this young kid just won the NBA championship, and they're all like, we don't need him to play. It's just like, let's have the other greats do it. I think the coach was jealous. I mean, like, again, everyone's going to be jealous of the team that just won a championship. I mean, in the NFL, they're going to be gunning for the Chiefs again. So, I mean, like, I think it's jealousy, envy. Maybe it's one of those. I mean, you're not letting them play. I mean,
but he played the other Celtics, Holiday and White.
Maybe there has to be beef, as you said. There
be.
has to be. It's like you're going to play them, but not him. It's like there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
Maybe the coach does not like him.
Yeah.
Then why did you select him to go in the Olympics?
Yeah. I don't know if Kerr actually picked the team, but.
Oh. Imagine if he did. Like, it's like, whoa, now it's more. But we're not going to talk about any of that because this is controversy-free. But,
we are conflict controversy-free. We are all good vibes here on Good Sports.
We do have a few minutes left, so let's talk about the closing ceremony. Did you watch any of it?
I caught bits and pieces. Been kind of busy lately. There's a lot of stuff going on here in town and personally, and so I caught just the highlights. Again, beautiful, the fireworks with that backdrop. I mean, even another thing I want to mention too, the volleyball court, beach volleyball court was set up literally right next to the Eiffel Tower, a temporary stadium. The fencing venue was in this beautiful hall with this beautiful ceiling. Like, again, that's Paris. And before we wrap up, another thing we should talk about, in 4 years, didn't come to Boston, but they are coming summer games to America, to Los Angeles. So
first time since Atlanta 96.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of the closing ceremonies, they handed off the Olympic flag to Simone Biles to bring back to America, and Tom Cruise was doing some stunts.
I saw it. He jumped from I'm like, oof. I don't know, but I'm a little afraid of heights. But he did. He's like,
I'm a lot
swooped right in.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, he does his own stunts in Mission Impossible, and it kind of scary, right?
Yeah, risky.
Yeah. So, and we saw a big. We forgot to mention a big kind of unlikely superstar of the Olympics was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that was.
He was all over the place.
Star of the show.
Yeah.
Star of the show.
All over the place, especially the women's gymnastics, rooting for them. And he did a little song for LA 28. So I'm excited actually to see, the bright lights of Tinseltown and the Olympic Games. And it'll be fun. So, again, with 4 years, we'll see you. 2 years until the Winter Games. And
2026.
Yes.
Where are they?
I don't know, actually.
Maybe
actually, I think they're in. Italy. I think it's Milan and 2 other cities in Italy that have the 26 games. I'm almost sure. I'd bet it. And then LA in 2028. Again, like we mentioned.
Wow, 2026. Italy.
See?
Are you gonna go to that one?
No. I'd like to, but. I don't know.
Maybe we'll do like a Good Sports right with
on location. I think BCAT should send us out on location to the Winter Games.
We're gonna have to get like something to take the desk with us.
Yeah. Or a portable studio. But I think we're wrapping up here.
Yeah. So Mike, thanks for coming on for another Olympic side show for the Good Sports. But it's been a pleasure.
As always.
Yeah.
And I think. We'll give a little teaser. Maybe we're getting to that time of year where Robert is very happy, and maybe our next episode will probably be an NFL preview.
Yeah, we could talk about fantasy.
Oh,
and fantasy too.
Fantasy football too.
It's coming up.
The most wonderful time of year is upon us. So.
Wow, I can't believe it's been that long. But folks, thank you all for watching. I'm Robert Parris.
I'm Mike Espejo.
And that's all good with the sports.